It's 2025. Is being a Latina, Latino, Latine, and talking about your mental health finally easy? A few weeks ago, I spoke on growing up Latino and how growing up Latino and talking about mental health was not easy. All the struggles that we face. You have a roof over your head, shelter, you have food on the table. What are you complaining about? All that stuff. But it's 2025. Are things actually getting easier? Yes and no. We'll talk about that in a second. Here's how I've experienced talking about mental health in the last few years and how you can use it to talk to someone you love, to talk to them about their own mental health. So, is it actually getting easier to talk about your mental health in 2025? Yes and no. The reason why I say yes and no is that some people are still a little shy, curious, and unsure of the whole mental health aspect. They don't understand that actually talking about your problems can be fruitful in the process of healing, with trauma, with anxiety, etc. Although talk therapy isn't the end all be all, we still have a lot of other things you need to do, like EMDR, CBT, etc. Until they understand that it goes beyond talk therapy. And by they, I'm talking about our parents, tias and tios. They won't fully understand that going to a therapist is just as important, if not more important, than seeing your doctor annually. So before we get into some deep conversations, just getting my leftover coffee. I got this from Buzz and Belmore because they're one of the only coffee shops that I know that has a drive-through. And yes, if I'm not co-working, I want to go through a drive-through, something quick and easy after Pilates. So let's get into the serious conversation. The way that I see mental health changing and evolving in 2025, I think is honestly really beautiful. My grandma actually considered and went to therapy in El Salvador for like a smidge. She quit, but that alone is such a great feat. And the way that I feel like was one of the ways that it happened was because I spoke about therapy, other family members spoke about therapy, how therapy is life-changing, can actually help, because in their minds they don't see how therapy helps. And can you really blame them? They didn't have the education, and growing up it was super taboo. So all they know is the negatives. So getting them used to something brand new so late in life is going to be a challenge. Other ways that I've seen mental health conversations change is that instead of just shutting down like, oh, mental health is for crazies, therapy is for locals, they're asking questions and they're trying to understand. I recently spoke to someone about their mental health struggles and how they spoke about it with their parents and how they really didn't get it, but they were asking questions. They were actually curious. They weren't belittling. They said, kind of along the same lines of, well, I struggled with this growing up, but you don't see me sad. Why are they sad? And if you take the time to explain the science behind it, it'll actually help them grasp it a little bit. It's really important to educate, instead of just giving up, throwing in the towel, being mad. It's okay to be mad, but we need to come to a solution for these things. Other ways that I've seen mental health come around is me explaining the concept that respect is earned and not just blindly given. I think especially in the community of us Latinos, maybe other immigrants as well, but I don't know, I can't speak for them, is that you don't just blindly give respect to elders. I still very much feel like we should always give respect to elders or everyone at the forefront. But once they start showing you disrespect, that's when you could reel it in a bit and not have to hold it as such a high and blind standard. Not everyone is deserving of your respect. You're not a doormat, and it doesn't matter who you are. Even if you are a grandma, a grandpa, an older great auntie or whatever, it is very difficult to even say that out loud because of the way I grew up. And although I believe wholeheartedly respect your elders also gotta chill out and watch your mouth. It's not just, oh, like they're an old person, let's do whatever they want. No. I mean, grab this with a grain of salt and use it on a case-by-case basis. But I'd be having beef with some of my friends' grandparents, and I'm just like, y'all wild, But there's that. So I explained those concepts to my mom, and sometimes she's like, yeah, I mean, maybe, And then sometimes she's like, no, but she's your grandmother. So you can see the glimmers of like, maybe I don't need to stand with this disrespect. And it's really nice seeing that light bulb turn on, you know? There's those moments as well. And also boundaries, like letting them know, like, hey, like, you can say no. Not that I feel like my parents or any parents, they don't have trouble saying no. They have trouble accepting no, really. And I've given them that a lot the last few years, where it's like, no, I can't, I'm sorry. And you know, the guilt would eat me away. Like I'm a ultra mega recovering people pleaser, but that helps so much, because like as I grow and I'm building my own family, I need to know where that balance is between like, this is us time and this is time that I can give to my family and where I can help them. And you know, with a good partner, they also help you keep that balance as well. And then they see that, and then they learn to accept it when they can ask for help and when they can't ask for help. All these little things are baby steps that I've seen that has improved my relationships, no matter how drastic they've been, and how they are slowly accepting mental health in its entirety. Because it's not just going to therapy, it's actually doing the work outside of therapy to live a better life. Hopefully, example, my parents can see how therapy will change and help my younger brother with his severe anxiety. I see a lot of myself in him, and I remember how they probably don't remember that I was full of anxiety and depression, because they saw someone who was resilient and someone who was always a hard worker, just pushing and surviving and getting good grades. But behind that was so much anxiety that once the go stopped, the anxiety took over my life in my adulthood. So I hope they see that change with him now that he's starting young and going into adulthood. So they know as well that they have their own anxieties, because they do. And that'll help them maybe be more open to therapy. And I hope that this helps someone who's struggling with a conversation with a parent. Remember to come from a place of patience, of a place of example, because they see you and they get curious of like how you're doing better or saying no and standing up for yourself. And that curiosity is a good thing. And although it feels like they should be doing the work to do the research, remember, they're still immigrants, they're still immigrant parents, they're still older. You know, some concepts are just better learned differently. I'm a very big visual learner. If you just tell me a story, I have a hard time like paying attention. If I'm reading something, I get lost reading it. So remember, people are also different type of learners, and that's okay. I hope this was a lot that you took in and that was helpful. Remember again, if you really enjoy me speaking on Latinidad, mental health, and all these aspects of life, hit subscribe down below, give me a like, and share in the comments what your experience has been from then to now dealing with mental health. I'd love to learn more about your experience, and we could share and create a community together.